Hello and welcome to the Tongue of the Trees. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer. This week we're talking about what is Neroli Essential Oil good for. And do you know, I think this is one of those oils that's wasted on the young, like education. I don't know, as a youngster it passed me by. I knew it was lovely, you know, beautiful fragrance, but I didn't really ever feel, oh, that's an oil I have to use. But as I'm getting older, it comes up more and more. So if you haven't watched our videos before, know that we are talking about the Tongue of the Trees Oracle cards. And they're available on Amazon or from Fragrant Earth or Jade Shoot's School of Aromatic Studies in America. And let me find the card. Keyword there is observation. It's an observation that I don't think it's a young person's oil, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. In this video we're only going to talk about the physical medicine of Neroli, and to my mind the more important medicine of this oil will come in the next video. If you want to look for the link below, I'll tell you how to get to the video where we talk about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual aspects, as well as how to blend it and the safety. At this point, I would like to say thank you to all of those of you who are leaving comments. Please do share these videos with people and do subscribe and leave me a comment underneath. Ideally, it's not a link to a porn site, which seems to have been the trend of late. So let's tell you a bit about it. What is it, first of all? You can see on the card, this here is the orange, but it's not painted orange because we have the colour on the part of the flower that the oil comes from. And that is the blossom of the orange plant. So sometimes you might see it as orange blossom. You see that as orange flower water quite often, which is the hydrolat that is produced at the same time as making the essential oil. Sometimes it's made in its own right, but that's a different video altogether. I think the difficult thing that we're going to have about this series of videos for Neroli is because the physical medicine is the emotional medicine on all cases. So there's a massive overlap. It's so good as an antidepressant. It's so good for as a sedative. It's so good for anxiety. And if we think about the somatic things that come with those, so anxiety is the easiest to imagine, isn't it? That horrible knot in your tummy, that feeling of feeling sick, shaking, you know, the tension in the body, all of that would be indicated by Neroli. Where do we say is the Neroli medicine? Is it the emotional? Is it that in the body? It's all the same thing, isn't it? And with Neroli, it goes right across the board. My first venture into aromatherapy was being trained by my mum, who was one of the first aromatherapists in the UK and has had an aromatherapy production company for over 40 years. And she always made the most beautiful neroli and carrot skincare. So this was for more mature skins, but also for smokers' skins. As the skin starts to lose that dewiness, that elasticity, that translucency, Neroli is extremely good at kissing it. I can't explain it any better than kissing it and just kind of bringing that glow back again. The strange thing about the Neroli and carrot is the carrot tops. It's a tremendous oil for people who have red hair, and it may be something to do with the paleness of our skin, you know, how delicate it is. And you've got the beautiful paleness of the white gentle flower. If you look at the historical component. And I haven't got many stories because it's not an oil that I've even thought to study in the past. But I do know that it's traditionally found in bridal bouquets, in particular in Chinese bridal bouquets. And it has that kind of innocence about it, but also it's very romantic fragrance, but it's very relaxed, you know. So if we compared it to, for example, jasmine and how aphrodisiac that is, you know, that's bordering on lascivious, isn't it? You know, it's just, you know, juicy, juicy, juicy. This, the neroli feels like the virginal bride. You know, it's very, very, it's feminine, but in a different way. It's so gentle, naive. It's the blossom, you know. The blossom hasn't turned into the fruit yet. The sexuality is there. It's the sexuality of the flower and the pistons and stamens, isn't it? But it's before it turns into the fruit, before it blossoms. But having said that, that's the kind of part we want to bring back to the skin, you know, that youthfulness, that innocent, virginal kind of look, you know. Hard to explain, but hopefully you're getting the feel of it. So very, very good for skincare, particularly if the skin is dry or sensitive, and as I say, more mature skin. So it would be, if we were doing like a scale, I would say, right, lavender's your teenage skins, then we go to rose, then we go to neroli, then we're going to frankincense. And frankincense is your polyfiller, wrinkled skin. It's that stage between. So kind of, we're talking a menopausal stage, aren't we? You know? And so, yeah, we've talked about how it is aphrodisiac, but in a different way, you know? This is a kind of, the reason why I stopped was because I was thinking bridal bouquet. I was going to say this is somebody that you've known for a long time and wanted for a long time. But then there is also that feeling of an arranged marriage, you know, that kind of fatedness, if you like, you know, that something, it's taken a long time for the thread to get to here, and now the flower has blossomed. It's not like your one night stands, you know, but likewise, it's not like, well, like we were saying about jasmine. Jasmine's very much married couples that have been together a long time, you know, that kind of knowing each other inside out. This is new knowledge. Neroli is new knowledge. So in the recipe hub this month, there's quite a few. You're probably already starting to be able to guess what kind of recipes are in there. One that's probably not so obvious is one for arrhythmia, because it's very good for cardiac spasm. We can see how it would be a heart chakra medicine. And where rose is tonic for the heart, this is antispasmodic. Antispasmodic on many different levels. So I think one of the other recipes that we've got in the hub is how I use it for leg spasms. Those who watch my videos a lot will know that leg spasms are my life. You know, I've been afflicted with restless leg syndrome since I was a very, very small girl. And sometimes it's worse than others. When I'm stressed, it's very bad. So I have a whole section of restless legs recipes. So this is a good, and neroli's a really good one to use. We can also see how it would be very good for diarrhea, nervous diarrhea, driving test diarrhea, chronic diarrhea generally. Although if it seemed to be like a dysentery diarrhea, I would be more likely to go for spikenard. But if we think that the diarrhea may have an emotional component, then of course neroli is the right place to go. And likewise nervous dyspepsia, problems with digestion generally that come from nerves, from anxiety, from being worked up, from being depressed, you know, all of those. Depression's such a strange thing, isn't it? And we talk in my pain practitioner program about how it's impossible to know if pain makes depression worse or depression makes pain worse, but there is always a comorbidity between the two. If somebody's suffering from depression, we will see aches and pains in the body, potentially maybe as bad as something like arthritis or fibromyalgia. Poor souls. Dealing with the emotional component has massive ramifications through the body, and neroli is a beautiful way to do it. So that was short and sweet really, because as I say, it's one of those oils that has many indications for very few reasons, and the few reasons are it's so good to settle into the emotions. So we will talk more about that in the next video. If you have seen below, there is a link to the video on about the emotional, mental and spiritual aspects of neroli on my website, on the Secret Healer blog. Come across and have a look, and we will talk, as I say, about the emotional, mental and spiritual. We'll also talk about the safety of neroli, and Gergle Halodi, who is a fantastic teacher of botanical perfumery, will tell us how to blend it. I'm looking forward to that, because I don't think I'm very good at blending neroli. It's such a delicate fragrance, it's easy to overwhelm it, isn't it? So I will see you in a moment. Don't forget, before you leave, click the notifications button to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video about what is neroli essential oil good for.